Welcome to Draconian, your podcast for news and updates in Hong Kong and Taiwan. I'm your host, William. Hi, welcome to the 7th episode of the Draconian podcast. This is your host, William. This week, we will cover topics ranged or happened between the 11th of September to the 17th of September. In this week, we will be using a revised format where we discuss topics, not different pieces of news. And let's start with topics from Hong Kong. In this week, we have two different topics from Hong Kong. The first topic is about the torrential rain, landslide, shackle, and unauthorized building works. Seems unrelated, right? But actually it is. Because not only the torrential rain damaged shackle, it's also unveiled unauthorized building works in Hong Kong, actually island-wide. And the reason was how local media is doing after some unauthorized building works being found or being set as a culprit of landslides. So, a red rainstorm signal was hoisted in Hong Kong on the 15th of September, and it is the third day in 2 weeks where students enjoy day offs as schools were shut over torrential rain again. In fact, the road was already damaged. The Shack-O Road was already damaged twice already within a week. At the same time, in another raining event earlier this week, Kwun Tong and Tseung Kwan O were flooded. And worst case for Tseung Kwan O, all outside road connections from the new development areas to outside world were all flooded, which means that people would actually be forced to technically use only MTR to get out of Tseung Kwan O. At the same time, the government also issued a red rainstorm warning signal on early Thursday and late Friday. While it didn't cause a widespread damage, it do cause some inconvenience for some different people and for workers, as basically rain is coming, and it's just rain is coming, nothing else, and the soil may actually be softened, and it may also cause landslides or mudslides as a result. So probably these are different problems, I would say, and considering how the Hong Kong's local sewer system or stormwater drainage system was designed, it was not designed to stand multiple hits actually. But fortunately, not a lot of people from Hong Kong were actually damaged, or not damaged, were hurt. And now is why I'm talking unauthorized building works at the same time. The extent of these buildings, known as qimgin in Cantonese or weijian in Chinese, had only been unveiled or under the spotlight only because of the landslide happening at the Red Hill Peninsula. In fact, local news only started investigating these different detached houses in Hong Kong only after the extent of unauthorized building works in Red Hill Peninsula was revealed. And unfortunately, it's not just a single case for the Red Hill Peninsula. In fact, multiple buildings, multiple detached houses had been found having these unauthorized building works. And some of them are using quite creative methods to avoid being detection, while ranging from painting those unauthorized building works to just turning them red or covering it with nets to try avoid being detection from drones. And at the same time, the local news media also revealed that some of these unauthorized building works also cause landslide island-wide or even city-wide. Albeit those places, most of them will only be populated or resided by the very wealthy ones. So basically, this is the end, or this is this is the first topic I'm talking about: the torrential rain, landslide, shackle, and unauthorized building works. And now we have the second topic. This is about the campaign to revive Hong Kong's night economy. The campaign, called as Night Vibes Hong Kong, was launched last week. Instead, the government used traditional land dance to launch the event. However, the line that was used in the dance was silver in color, and as a result, as the opening ceremony was in dark, it resembled to white lions used in traditional Chinese funerals. Well, it was technically still something that was used in cheering events, but the idea or the image that it projects had been a little bit alarming, as basically it didn't give any good, not definitely a good sign. And at the same time, in the whole campaign, when people start look into different branding of the campaign, things start to get a little bit interesting, as most events are just the rebranding and the relaunch of old events. For example, the Brands and Products Expo, which was basically held annually, was now slapped a sign stating that this is a Night Vibes Hong Kong event. At the same time, there is also a wine tasting festival and the fireworks in celebration of the founding of the People's Republic of China. These two events were cancelled in the pandemic, while the latter was also cancelled due to the anti-extradition law amendment protests. And it shows quite interesting things happening in Hong Kong. The government's take to revive the economy had basically revived the night economy and the day economy seems to be a little bit out of the idea where originally Hong Kong's economy was best described as a service industry, where not only tourism but financial services. However, these campaigns weren't directly tackling the problem that international corporations, companies, banks, and financial industries are leaving Hong Kong to Singapore and other locations to diversify the risk. Well, it's not a good sign, but at least the government is trying. I would say at least it's trying. And this is topics that are related to Hong Kong this week. In next week, we will definitely talk about a hit news already after the deadline of after the things that are happening on the date of recording and the day before, where a local fraudulent exchange, crypto exchange company got busted or went under. But that will be in time for next week's topics. And now, we'll talk about Taiwan and topics about Taiwan. First off, we will have the topic about Taiwan's defense against China. Taiwan's military released its first national defense report since the Russian invasion of Ukraine, or since 1 year after the Russian invasion of Ukraine. In this report, it stated that the nation's armed forces are learning from the war in Europe and are boosting the country's asymmetrical warfare capabilities and adapting a new approach in preparation for the cross-strait conflict. According to this year's National Defense Report, Taiwan's military noted that the Communist government is deploying hybrid warfare to target Taiwan through military coercion and non-traditional threats such as cyber and cognitive warfare. In response, Taiwan's military is just upholding its long-held resolute defense and multi-domain deterrence strategy, and beefing up its ability to conduct a symmetrical defense warfare capabilities in the face of China. Furthermore, Taiwan is also beefing up its defense capabilities by civil defense. The Civilian Defense Handbook was published in June this year and outlines different precautions and ways to identify the Communist Army. It also stated the importance of storing essential goods and explaining different basic survival skills and giving out or reiterating emergency hotlines that people can call when they need to do so. After President Tsai's announcement that compulsory military service in Taiwan will be extended from 4 months to a year, mandatory conscription actually, from January 1st next year, the report dedicated a chapter explaining how the conscription system reform will strengthen the combat readiness against these attacks from China. In fact, this is the first time. President Tsai's announcement last year was the first time for an extension of mandatory conscription, while at the same time, internal discussion also appeared that people are willing to discuss whether females should also be mandatory conscripted into the army. This also hopes that Taiwan could defend itself against any potential invasion from China. Another highlight of this version is that the report contains an English version being published at the same time with the Chinese one. Before 2021, the Ministry of National Defense would only issue the report in Chinese first, while translating it into English after a year. And this was intended to adhere to the government's bilingual policy, which enabled Taiwan's forces to communicate with foreign countries, NATO and the United States. Furthermore, the biennial Taipei Aerospace and Defense Technology Expo opened in Taipei Thursday. It restarted after a 4-year break, and it is the first participation from the United States this year, in the history of this biennial expo. Furthermore, the Americans' representative in Taiwan, AIT, American Institute in Taipei, its director, Sandra Oldkirk, participated in the opening ceremony of the expo and at the same time delivered a speech. This speech was delivered in the background of increased Chinese military warship fighter and fighter plane activity around Taiwan. China has launched an islands encirclement patrol in which Taiwan would track over 100 aircraft and also other substantial naval activity. This was used as a way for the Chinese government, in my own opinion and William's opinion, to shift attention from its own economy and other internal issues and external diplomatic environment. As the issue of one China policy and the issue of peaceful reunification now grows dimmer day by day as China now tries to use force and Taiwan now is more to having more towards self-determination with less Chinese elements. And this is also related to the next topic, the Resolution 2758 of 1971. This resolution is the resolution that determines that the People's Republic of China can participate in the affairs of the United Nations. In that resolution, it removed representatives of Chiang Kai-shek from the United Nations, while saying that the People's Republic of China will represent China. However, it did not resolve the issue of Taiwan's representation, at least in paper. However, China is using this as a means to assert its claim over Taiwan and assert the idea to remove any Taiwanese representative from any UN, United Nations organizations. Last Friday, the co-chairs of the Congressional Taiwan Caucus of the United States of America issued a joint statement that the Resolution 2758 only resolved the issue of the representation of China, but not Taiwan and its people in the United Nations or any related organizations. This came as an alarm for China, as basically this will not remove the claim, but this will weaken Chinese claims on Taiwan. And that's the result, the reason why China, and that's the issue of the resolution, or the topic of Resolution 2758, and also about Taiwan's defense against China, and the reason why China is now exerting different claims and exerting different pressure in Taiwan in a hybrid way. And next, we will have Taiwan's politics and election twist. Terry Gou, the independent candidate, has announced his running peer. The peer, a somewhat famed actress, is the person who portrayed as a person who ran for election in a hit Netflix election drama this year in Taiwan. Lai Pei-xia Lai, is a female actress who got portrayed in a hit Taiwan election drama that was aired in Netflix earlier this year. However, she actually also plays in different activities or in different plays, such as theaters. Unfortunately, because of her announcement as a running mate of Terry Gou, the theater or the play or the screenplay was cancelled. This script, called The Mushroom, in 2 words, is a drama where the script itself won a cultural award with the screenplay in 2020 about how well the screenplay was written. At the same time, there were also some problems about the renunciation of citizenship. In fact, Terry Gou's running mate, Pei-xia Lai, is a born American, and she is also an American citizen by blood. As a result, she may not be able to renounce her nationality, or U.S. nationality, fast enough to participate in Taiwan's election. And she could have only successfully renounced her citizenship only after the nomination period ended. It's a bit unfortunate, but that's the result, or that's how things are planned. At the same time, Terry Gou's favorite, like her favorite Taiwan People's Party's mayor, also got embroiled in different controversies. And this is about the second subtopic, the Hsinchu City. The city mayor, Gao Xiong'an, is now under more scrutiny as the mayor's own cultural bureau chief resigned and released more information of alleged interference from the mayor's boyfriend. As a result, the mayor apologized for all the inconvenience caused to the general public for all the recent news that happened about her on the 15th of September. And unfortunately, she also got suspended from the party, or from her party founded by a now presidential running person, a person who are running for presidential presidency, Dr. Ko Wen-je, or Dr. Ko. In fact, the person, Kao, was both related to Terry Gou and Dr. Ko Wen-je. because she previously worked for Terry, and now she is a party member, albeit suspended at the time of recording, of Dr. Ko Wen-je's party. As a result, the supporting rate of both Ko and Terry dropped slightly. And my take on this is that, well, considering these different people, considering how the opposition could not even field only one candidate, I don't see the idea where the ruling party's running person, William Lai, could lose such easily. And next, it's about unauthorized building works. As with Hong Kong, unauthorized building works also became an election spotlight. Candidates from the Democratic Progressive Party and Taiwan People's Party, William Lai and Dr. Ko Wen-je, were embroiled in controversies over their own family house on having unauthorized building works. William Lai's family house in New Taipei City were considered as unauthorized building works, albeit he can make them unauthorized or make them legal through registration. However, Dr. Ko, the president of Taiwan Strait Party, and also the president of Hsinchu City's mayor's party, it's the same thing actually. His family house recorded different unauthorized building works, and those were removed, I think, last week by the family. Nothing, but they were removed last week. I don't know if it's coincidence that happening in Hsinchu, but this shows that basically unauthorized building works were somewhat related to somewhat the idea of both affecting Hong Kong and Taiwan politically and economically somewhat. And at the same time, it is not somewhat rare thing, as basically people consider unauthorized building works a quite prone issue in Taiwan, where some estimate even 40% of Taiwan's building have such unauthorized building works. So, we hope you find this episode informative. If you do, please subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss any single episode. And if you have any feedback, please let us know in the comments or drop us an email at william@dragonianpod.com. Thanks again for listening. We'll be back next week with more news from Hong Kong and Taiwan, and have a safe week ahead. Goodbye.